Hey everyone, welcome to another Anime Kingdom discussion and review. This one is on episode 15 of Shokugeki no Souma, and of course, finally this episode is here. Of course, last week it did get pushed back to this one. It got cancelled last week for some reason. I'm not really too sure on what happened there. I just knew there was no episode last week, which was kind of sad because I was really oh finally I we're done with that arc, the camp arc, and they were showing the father and everything. And of course, that is the big thing in this episode. Of course, his father has come back to Japan from wherever he's been, like all over the world and everything. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, the beginning part was, all the alumni. It was pretty interesting to see them trying to get them to join because actually the camp, besides weeding out the weak, a secondary thing to it is that all of the alumni are looking for new chefs to hire after they graduate, kind of thing, and they were all like all over Megumi and Soma. So that was pretty interesting. Um, what else? After that, they had the awkward car ride with Soma and Erina, and pretty much we learned what was those election things I was talking about before. And there was actually those guys in suits that were in when they were doing that challenge they had. They were judging who would be elected, kind of thing. So I guess this is the next big thing that's going to end up happening after what's happening in this episode, because there's a lot to still go on after this. So pretty much we find out one of the funny things I could not believe was Edina has had, like, she has a picture of her and guess who? Soma's dad. Obviously you saw, but yeah, like what the heck? And it looks like she has feelings for him. She really, I guess he is an amazing chef. Some like throughout this episode, we find out more and more about the dad, and that's one good thing I was like happy about because, like I said before, like I really wanted to see more of a backstory on who the dad was because they always talked about, showed him a little bit, and he's like going all over the world and stuff. It's like, what the heck? Is he really like good or like I don't know. But in this episode, I finally do discuss who he is, and his name is actually different now. Yukihira is not his name, so I don't know why he changed it. Maybe just to get away and so no one would know who he was, obviously, because he did disappear. Everyone called him like the wandering um, chef or something like that, because he would go like all around the world, kind of like what he was doing when he left Soma, and that's why he was going all over to different places, and people would like love his food and everything. So he's like really good, but he just disappeared out of nowhere, and obviously that's probably because Soma was born and everything. And maybe Yukihira is the mom's last name. I'm not too sure because they never talk about the mom at all. So that's another thing that maybe they'll talk about in show. Another thing is, yeah, his name is Joichiro. Forget what his the last name that they called him by, but he used to be the second seat of the top 10. The best chefs in the school. Him and Gin, who we met before, the director of the hotel, food thingy. But yeah, him and Gin used to really be like two of the best chefs ever, and like they are what made Polar Star, the dormitory, like so good. Like all the stuff that they have, the chicken coop, the crop area. That's because they kept winning all those shokugekis, and that's how like I was like, wow, really? And then another thing is he never graduated, so it's like, why? At first, I thought maybe it's because someone was born and everything, but no, that's not possible because after in his career he was known as the wandering chef, so that means he was wandering all around the world, and it's definitely not because of Soma. Maybe it was because of a girl. I'm not too sure what's going on. They probably tell it later on, and it's actually got me really interested. Like, why the heck he was number two, like second to Gin, who's like super good, and it was really interesting to see like learn more about his story and everything, who he is, what happened, that he went to the school, he was number two, and all this kind of stuff. It's actually really interesting. Like I was really like I said before, I wanted to know more about the dad because he was like an enigma. We didn't know what the heck, but he was seemed to be super good, like a really good chef. So other than that, like they went back to the dormitory and everything. They had a feast and everything. It was funny to see. We get to see him and Soma kind of reconnect again and everything with the gross ass food that they always like to do. Um, it's funny to see the girls. They're like, oh my gosh, he gives such a man. Talking about the dad, a manly vibe kind of thing. I wonder if Yukihira will be like that. So it's kind of funny to see that and everything. um, and just learn how, like I said, how much he like of his story Joichiro is. And of course, we, the ending, the cliffhanger. Oh my gosh, I am so hyped for that. He is of course challenging Soma to see who, like, if Soma has improved or not. So that's gonna be something. I can't wait to see that. You know, have a show, like a mini Shokugeki between them. Because every time I see a Shokugeki, like I'm always like, yeah, man, that's what I want to see more of those. We had the first one, and that one was pretty good. The second one against the alumni, I forget what his name was. It wasn't as good. It was still good, but not that good. But this one, I can definitely see being good. You can see that, like, Soma, his dream is to be, to get his father to notice how good he is and everything. So this is kind of like, oh my gosh, is he ready? Can he do this? Because he's like all scared all of a sudden. It's probably the one person he's scared to go against. And yeah, I just can't wait to see how that battle, that Shokugeki, ends up going, because that's the big highlight of this. Like, the ending was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this Anime Kingdom discussion review. This is pretty much all I got to say about. It was the beginning, the alumni leaving, the camp is over, awkward car ride, Edina having feelings for his dad, Soma's dad arriving. Ends up he's like super famous, pretty much. Well, not super famous, like everyone knows him, but he's like super, like one of the best chefs there was there at the school, second to Gin, and all his whole story. And then of course it ends with that battle that's going to happen between father and son, and I really cannot wait for that, guys. Like, seriously, cannot wait. But yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And can't wait, guys. Till next time. See ya.